they're sort of, in a way, old wine in new bottles. And to explore this further, here are our scenarios again. 3 classes: the great transitions, barbarization, and conventional world, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And 2 variations in each, for a total of 6 scenarios. Now, with tongue firmly in cheek, let's ask who might be the antecedents for these worldviews, a snapshot of the philosophy, and a possible motto. Well, the market force idea probably goes back to Adam Smith as an appropriate antecedent. It's the philosophy of market optimism and faith in the hidden and enlightened hand of the market. And the motto might be, don't worry, be happy. Policy reform, one might think of Keynes, and in a more contemporary context, Brundtland, and which really was the Brundtland report, Our Common Future of the 80s, was the seminal paper on sustainable development. And this is the philosophy of policy stewardship, environment and equity through better technology. A forerunner of breakdown might be Parson Malthus, writing in the late 18th century, the existential gloom, the inevitability of population and resource catastrophe. The motto, the end is coming, nothing we can do about it. A forerunner of Fortress World, Thomas Hobbes, 17th century, is concerned with social chaos and belief in the underlying nastiness of human nature and the need for order through strong leaders. The eco-communalism vision perhaps could be traced to the 19th century social utopians, Morris and the others, in an entirely different context, the traditionalism of Gandhi. It's a philosophy of pastoral romance and belief in the ultimate goodness of human nature and great fear of industrialization. And the motto, of course, is small is beautiful. And then this new paradigm. Any volunteers? Well, maybe the definitive piece hasn't been written yet, so I throw that out as a dissertation assignment for anybody who's looking for. And this is the philosophy of sustainability as progressive global development. The motto, human solidarity, new values, the art of living. Now, but this typology of visions actually leaves out the most common one of all. And that's having absolutely no vision whatsoever. And I'm here to tell you that my own brother-in-law is a very good example of this. And I suspect there's somebody in your family, maybe at Thanksgiving dinner or something, that also fits the bill. So this is the philosophy of muddle through. Don't bother me with your grand philosophies. You'll only make it worse. The motto is que sera, sera. So just for fun, let us imagine that we ask a representative of each of these worldviews to comment on the metaphor. Society is a ship in troubled waters. So the market optimists say, onward, keep the shops and casinos open. The reformist said, improve the navigation system, call a meeting. And there have been a lot of meetings, actually. And the catastrophists, remember the Titanic, we're sinking exponentially. And the authoritarians, oh captain, my captain, beware of mutiny, secure the first-class deck. And the small is beautiful types, abandoned ships, sail to tranquil ponds in small boats. And a new paradigm, look, a passage to a better sea, if. Oh yeah, my brother-in-law, wake me if something happens. Okay, so the bold vision of market forces is to forge a globally integrated free market. And its policy agenda is the mantra of the so-called Washington Consensus. Modernization, liberalization, deregulation, privatization, structural adjustment, free trade, you name it. But its colossal risk is that it would succumb to its own contradictions. Environmental degradation despite technological advance. Human desperation despite growing aggregate wealth. and cultural polarization despite greater interdependence. If market adaptations fail, then environmental stress, inequity, resentment, conflict, xenophobia, they could reinforce, and out of the turbulence, a fortress world could consolidate. And this would be a tragic negation of hopes for a better world. Now, from the agony of the 20th century, those hopes were crystallized in four great aspirations for global society: peace, freedom, development, and a healthy environment. But the trends are perilous. Conflict, inequity, poverty persist, while stresses on the environment increase. Sustainability would require radically bending these curves towards decreased conflict, much greater equity and lower poverty, and environmental renewal. Now, policy reform would take up the challenge, but the question, is it enough? Well, here's where we did an awful lot of analysis, and we showed, in fact, it is enough in principle, in the sense that the technologies and policy instruments are available for reconciling environmental growth and market-driven globalization with a wide set of environmental and social goals. But it's extremely daunting in practice. That gradually bending, highly unsustainable trends imposes immense technological and political challenges. It's like trying to go up the down escalator. And the ultimate uncertainty about this is, where would the political will come from for such a vast and sustained program? It's nowhere in sight. So reform may not be enough, alas. But even if it were enough, even if it were technologically and politically feasible, there would still remain another kind of question, a normative question. Does it offer an attractive vision of the future? Or might it lead to a sustainable but undesirable world? Kind of a global mall where the environment continues to function in some sense and fewer people starve, but not a place of human contentment and exploration. So this reconsideration of the meaning of the good life is fundamental to a great transition. What is the point of development? The new sustainability paradigm goes back to the question posed by Socrates many years ago. How shall we live? So it's a values-led scenario that prioritizes the quality of life, not just the quantity of things, that makes strong human connectedness a part of the good life, and that understands humanity as part of a vibrant community of life on the third planet. It's also a pluralistic scenario where